If anyone's going to make the most of a second or third opportunity, it's Steve Looney. This guy is fearless, such a competitor, keeps his poise. Nice, high to low, ripper right there. Awesome shot.
As well. Marabito had the quick stick shot that hit the side of the net, and he was able to get the assist. 2-1, Georgetown in front of Navy when we come back.
This is Paul Gate. He's been MVP in both the National Lacrosse League and Major League Lacrosse. But as president of De Beer, he spends his time doing what he does best, designing the most innovative men's and women's equipment in the game. Proud sponsor of teams at the University of Virginia, Maryland, and Syracuse. Always thinking.
Back at Navy Marine Corps Stadium, the midshipmen finally on the board. It's 2-1 Georgetown. The story so far today, however, has been Rich DeAndrea between the pipes for the Hoyas.
DeAndrea standing tall, gobbling them up low and high. He's been the answer for the Hoyas. That was the big question mark going in. Coach Eric mentioned Rich DeAndrea won last year when they played Navy, but he hasn't been between the pipes in a year. And wow, you would never know.
He's played great. For those who have just joined us, Miles Cass, the starting goalie this season for Georgetown, tweaked his knee against Holy Cross, so DeAndrea drew the assignment, and he's done well as Wallace wins that face-off cleanly. We remember Wallace from our first 4 coverage when he had an outstanding game against Bucknell, winning 16 of 17 face-offs. Both coaches, when we spoke to them this week, said face-offs in wing play would really be the key in this one.
Georgetown last year had one of the top face-off men of all time, and losing a huge guy on the face-off circle really is a question mark for a team going into it. But Christian Trunz has done a great job for the Hoyas this year, facing off a little over 50%, but he's played big in some of their big games.
2 solid face-off midfielders in this game. Guido with the ball for Navy. Leaves for Higgins as he retreats into the deep right corner. Higgins approaches the cage. Nothing doing there. He was shut off immediately. Higgins' pass deflected and knocked to the ground, and Georgetown has it. Time for our U.S. Lacrosse call to action. With over 180,000 members, U.S. Lacrosse is the national governing body of the sport of lacrosse. To learn more or to join, visit www.uslacrosse.org. Nice defense on one end for Georgetown. They're back on offense, and Cannon has a shot that bounces wide, backed up by the Hoyas. They keep it.
We mentioned with face-offs and goaltending always dictate tempo in a game. Last year, when Georgetown had probably their best face-off man in program's history, Andy Corno, he's gone to graduation, but also his wingman, Brody Merrill, the long pole, who's been the Rookie of the Year in the MLL and will probably be the Rookie of the Year in the NLL, the indoor league, was a huge factor on the wing, scooping up ground balls, increasing Corno's face-off percentage. So 2 huge guys were lost to graduation for the Hoyas.
Tough losses to overcome. So far, so good for Georgetown with this 5-game winning streak they're on, 5-1, ranked 5th in the country. Cahoe angles to his left, has the ball, gets it up top. Heavy hitting out in front as Georgetown tries to settle down its offense here, and now they'll back things out. Deliberate offense this possession for the Hoyas, as the midshipmen dig in defensively. Samperton directly behind the cage, has an assist today, takes a shot that hits the side of the net, and Russell scoops up the rebound. Navy looks to clear. Jordan Denola loops a pass to Bargard. Navy has an unsettled situation. It's Marabito knocked to the ground, flag comes out. Marabito maintains possession.
Right now, if you're Navy, you want to take advantage of this opportunity. This is a free play in lacrosse. The ball cannot hit the ground, or you lose that possession before the man advantage. So right now, Navy has to play smart, get a great scoring opportunity here. Do not let the ball hit the ground before it hits the back of the net.
Nice job of drawing that penalty by Marabido, the lefty sniper on attack for Navy. And an equally nice job keeping possession of the ball when he hit the ground. Marabido, crossfield pass, nice catch by Looney in traffic. Couldn't get a shot though. Moves to Dingman on the right side. Back to Marabido. Navy taking its time here with its quote-unquote free play. Marabido swings to the right side. Another flag comes out. Pass is picked off by Stevenson for Georgetown. Laundry all over the field. The result is going to be a man-up opportunity here for the Navy midshipmen.
I think, Jason, we're going to have two pushes with possession. Two 30-second pushes right here. Scott Kao, the sophomore Georgetown midfielder, pushed him from the rear there. And here's another push on Marabido, I believe. They either called a push there or a cross check. Looks like two different players will be out for Georgetown. So Navy has a 6-on-4, great scoring opportunity. Georgetown is going to have to get into that box, really not let anything inside, but you're going to see some outside opportunity shots for Navy.
You still like Looney on this possession? Billy Looney, that is, for Navy?
I've been watching Navy lacrosse the last few years, and I love Billy Looney on all the man-ups. I mean, if you're defense, you have to think about pressuring him and putting pressure on his hands. Do not let him have time and room. If he has time and room, he's a deadly shooter. You also have to watch the trigger man, Bergner. He's always the guy who initiates. We mentioned in the open, he's the quarterback of this offense. The ball will go through him and generate a scoring opportunity on the man advantage.
Navy waiting for the go-ahead from the officials. Their second man advantage. Looks like we're having some scoreboard issues. And as they sort that out, Navy has extra time to prepare for this man-up opportunity.
And if you're Navy here, Jason, you definitely want a great scoring opportunity. You don't get 6-on-4s too many. When you get them, you have to capitalize. Put pressure on DeAndrea here. High percentage shots.
They have this two-man advantage for 20 more seconds. There's your man, Billy Looney up top. So dangerous. Gives to Dingman. Extra pass. Berstner behind the net with a left-hand cradle. Switches to the right. Tries the centering pass. It's knocked to the ground by Garnett. Two Navy players collide, and Garnett comes away with the ball. Great stick work by Ren Garnett. Georgetown tries to clear. Huge hit by Looney. Oh, what a big hit, and the ball is loose. Flag comes out, and the officials will blow the play dead. A huge collision. Rob Lamos, number 13 for Georgetown, was leveled by Looney.
Looney.
He can shoot and he can hit, apparently.
We know about the Looney brothers. These guys are throwbacks. Billy Looney, an exceptional shooter, but he has some old school attributes in his game. Loves to lay the body.
It started with the collision between two Navy players and ended with that collision.
You don't want to be running up the field with a buddy pass like that and have Billy Looney breaking like a defensive back.
A huge hit. That did lead, however, to a penalty.
So it looks like Navy will be man advantage again. On that last opportunity, they did not even get a shot off, something they have to do, especially when they're two-man up.
So the penalty not necessarily on the hit. And you're right, Navy does have the ball, so the penalty outside of the hit. And again, Navy will try to take advantage of its man advantage. Looney straight away. Around the perimeter it goes. Navy trails Georgetown 2-1. Dingman to Looney. Deliberate passing as Looney avoids a hit, catches the pass, gets to Dingman behind the net. Berstner looking for a cutter, nobody home. Tiptoes the crease, back to Dingman. Tough angle shot, hits the side of the net and goes wide. Skips out of bounds, backed up by the mids, and they'll keep possession.
Navy's able to retain possession, being closest to the ball. In the sport of lacrosse, you'll keep the ball on the offensive end if your player is closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds.
Looney rips a shot from the right side. Goes out of bounds, backed up by Berstner, so they'll keep it.
You know, Jason, we talk about the physical play of Navy, but on the other end, Georgetown, plays smash mouth defense. If you look at the size of their defenders, they really bring it.
Looney again, the sidewinder. That went well over the net. 2 straight shots by Looney, both backed up by Berstner. So the mids keep it. They're getting the shots, just not hitting them.
Watch Georgetown versus Syracuse this year. And Georgetown really physically just really took it to the Orange and took them out of their offensive game.
Berstner threads the needle with a pass. The shot didn't get uncaged by Steve Looney. Navy keeps possession, however. A long offensive possession for the Naval Academy. Billy Looney backs away from pressure, checked by Dave Palisso. The leading scorer for Georgetown also plays defense on their man downs as well, so Palisso does a lot. Also has a goal here tonight.
You see that less and less in today's specialized game. Midfielders oftentimes are offensive midfielders, defensive midfielders. Palisso's showing that he's multifaceted and has all those pieces to his game, which is great as a coach. You want midfielders that can do a little bit of everything, just like the Looney brothers.
2-1 Georgetown midway through the second quarter. Berstner, right side goal line extended, double team, senses the heat, skip pass to Bill Looney, can't handle it, lays a big hit, but Georgetown able to come away with a ground ball. It's Palisso, and he moves it ahead. Here come the Hoyas in transition. An opportunity, a shot over the net by Heiderman and backed up by Georgetown. They'll keep it. Heiderman with the long stick, a junior, missed with a bouncer.
The Georgetown defense bringing the ball up. They've been known for that for the last few years. Guys like Kyle Sweeney and Brody Merrill always brought it up on that offensive end.
Georgetown calls a timeout. We will take it with them. 2-1 Hoyas in front of Navy.
Energizer E-squared lithium batteries let you take up to 630 photos in digital cameras versus up to just 90 with leading ordinary alkaline batteries. The world's longest lasting AA battery in high-tech devices. Energizer E-squared lithium keeps going and going and going.
Back in sometimes rainy Annapolis, Maryland, where Georgetown leads Navy 2-1. Time for our U.S. Lacrosse Coaches of the Week. Jenny Grapp led the number 16 Cornell women's team to a 14-8 victory at number 19 Vanderbilt and a 12-4 victory over Ivy League rival Penn last Saturday. The Big Red are 6-1 this season and lead the Ivy League with a 2-0 record. Jeff Tambroni led the undefeated Cornell men's lacrosse team to a pair of victories last week. The number 3 Big Red beat number 2 Duke 11-7 and then opened Ivy League play with a 16-6 victory over Yale last Saturday. Cornell is 6-0. It's the best start since its 1987 team won its first 13 games, on the way to finishing as the national runner-up. Those are our U.S. Lacrosse Coaches of the Week. Out of the timeout, Georgetown has possession. You can be sure they've diagrammed to play. They are on offense, Navy on defense. Georgetown up 2-1. Jason Chandler, Paul Carcaterra, and Sheehan Stanwyck Birch patrolling sidelines here at Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. Number 5 Georgetown against host number 8 Navy. Pete Cannon has the ball checked out of his stick, able to corral the loose ball and come away. McBride dodges to his left, tries to create space, slips to the ground. The field is slick, not raining now, and it's taken away by Navy. It has rained steadily throughout this game. The sun is out now. Dingman in transition. The big fella backing his man down, shoots from the ground. It's knocked to the ground before it reaches DeAndrea. Flags fly, pile up in front of the net. Let's sort this out.
Another penalty on the Hoyas. We talked about their smash mouth defense. You live and die by that. You really out physical players, but oftentimes you draw these penalties. Mike McBride right here just loses his ball out of his cross, goes right into the stick.
Ward Hackett with the takeaway. And now Dingman back the other end.
I think
Tough
they got
shot.
Ren Garnett on a cross check there, so that'll be a minute penalty. You know, you live and die by that. You play that physical play.
Looks like DeAndrea took that one right off the left knee. I thought it was knocked down before it got to the goaltender. That might push him back towards the defensive midi side of things after he gets hit with that first ball right in the knee.
Goalies, they're a different breed. But getting back to this man up, you don't want to give Navy chance after chance. So you have to play under control here if you're Georgetown. Can't get those stupid penalties and really give the man advantage opportunities.
That shot rings the crossbar, loose ball out in front. Battle for it, Garnett had it, lost it. Burster in front and he scores! Burster in the right place at the right time, picks up the loose change and finds the back of the cage. And we're all square at 2. Flag comes out after the goal. Burstner scooped up the ground ball after the scrum and was able to beat DeAndrea with a nice athletic play.
Look at this cannon. Billy Looney, wow. And then it was Johnny on the spot, John Bursner, picking up the garbage. I mentioned it earlier, you cannot give a team like Navy opportunity after opportunity. They're going to score on these man-ups, one way or another, whether it's a settle play or a rebound like this. If you're Georgetown, settle in, start playing smart defense.
So Navy is even this game with 5:41 to go at 2 apiece after they finally were able to convert on a man advantage goal. So Navy, after Georgetown started hot, it appears Navy is really, Paul, taking over this game. They're playing at their tempo. They're having the vast majority of offensive possessions, and their defense is tightened up as well.
Their defense is tightened up. You know you have Matt Russell, a proven factor in the cage. Now offensively, you just have to start shooting the ball a little bit better. And if Georgetown keeps on playing this type of a game where they're getting penalized, Navy's going to have these opportunities. And when that happens, they're going to capitalize.
Now, especially Georgetown playing on the road, this is one of the few lacrosse stadiums where the advantage of playing at home is so obvious with such a great crowd. And Sheehan Stanwyck on the sidelines has more of that.
I'm surrounded here by all the Navy fans. You can hear them. This is one of the hardest stadiums to play in. They've been willing their team back. They've been doing a great job. Just listen here.
The Navy crowd living up to its reputation. This is their house, Paul. They love to support this team. I know members of the football team, Coach Richie Meade said members of the football team, men's and women's soccer team, they all come and support Navy lacrosse, and why not? This is such a great program. It may even be one of their best as far as, if you look at Navy athletics, their lacrosse team has to be tops as far as their teams, their athletic teams.
Well, look at the home field advantage for the Mids. Dating back to 2004, 9 straight home wins. Very tough to play here if you're the opposition. And they do it consistently. Anytime you come here to Annapolis and you play against Navy, you're not only playing Navy, you're playing the crowd, which is the X factor.
So Navy back on the man advantage here. Before this penalty, they were 1 of 4, so they've had a lot of opportunities in the man-up situation, haven't converted. Looney in front, stonewalled by DeAndrea. Steve Looney was point blank on the Georgetown netminder, and again, DeAndrea with another up-close and personal stop.
DeAndrea's size right there was the big factor in that shot. Looney didn't shoot low inside. You have to shoot low if you're Steve Looney there. DeAndrea is a big boy, takes up a lot of the cage at 6'2", 6'3".
And it looks like Georgetown may have drawn the penalty in this situation, and that rowdy Navy crowd that we just talked about it, not too pleased with the call, and now Georgetown will have a chance to get one back on the board. Georgetown scored 2 goals early in this game, Trevor Casey and Dave Palisso. After that, it's been all Navy. Let's take a look at the penalty.
Looks like a push with possession. Thomas Zimmerman pushing Palisso with possession. That's a 30-second penalty right there. Cannot push the offensive player from the side or behind, or you're going to do some time in the box. And now Georgetown is man up, looking to capitalize on a Navy mistake.
Zimmerman, a freshman, whistled for the infraction, as Georgetown now gets its man-up offense out there. Georgetown coming into the game at 28% offensively on the man advantage. Around the perimeter it goes. Shot knocked to the ground. That was Casey. Shot knocked to the ground by Teague before it came close to the goaltender. And a flag comes out over by the bench. So suddenly this has become an affair in which the officials are very involved.
A lot of hankies in the air here, those yellow hankies. They're all over the place in this game. When you have two physical teams, you're going to have a lot of penalties.
It's funny because you commented off the air that the first quarter was incredibly fast. It was up and down, well played. This quarter, the exact opposite, incredibly slow with a number of penalties.
Penalties will slow the game down. When you have two physical defensive teams, these guys bring it just as much, if not more, than any teams in the country. When you have that, you're going to have man-ups and man downs. And the team that can convert these will have a really favorable chance of winning this ball game.
So now it's Georgetown's chance.
Their man advantage. Look for Brendan Cannon really to be that X guy, the John Bersner of Georgetown. He's playing that same role as Navy's captain. He's the trigger man. Look for guys like Trevor Casey on that right side as well.
Quick pass work around the perimeter. There is Brendan Cannon. Driving to the net, unable to get an angle on a shot. They reverse direction. Pete Cannon had it. Now Brendan Cannon again. Centering pass, quick stick shot, saved by Russell. The shot was by Denahan, and Cannon comes away. Andrew Baird calling for the ball. Number 16 was open on the right side. Cannon elects not to pass to him, up top to his brother. Now there's Baird from a tough angle. Nice centering pass, a bouncer by Denahan goes over the net, and it's scooped up by Brendan Cannon. Back to Baird. Dodges, but unable to get a good angle to the goal. Here's Pete Cannon straight away. Thought about shooting, didn't do it. Casey left wing. Not a successful man advantage possession here for Georgetown, as now Cannon will back towards the end line.
They had that one great look by Baird on the left side. He found a cutting Denahan. Denahan just bounced the ball a little bit too high. That was a great scoring opportunity for the Hoyas.
That opportunity goes by the boards as we're getting late here in the first half. And this game between two top 10 powers in men's D1 lacrosse is all square at 2. McBride waits for help, finally does get it. It's Paliso. Moves to his left. Centering pass, spin shot by Cannon goes wide. That's Pete, the older brother.
When you're on the offense, you always want to attack the short sticks, and you'll watch Navy. Great team basic fundamentals on defense will slide real early. That last dodge by Paliso, they came real quickly there to support him and help, and you'll see he has to dish the ball. When you're a midfielder, after you break the defense down, find the open man.
McBride on the right side, retreats back up top. Paliso in front, bounce shot, Russell goes low to get it. Ball rolling to the far sideline, it's loose, saved by Navy, but right into the stick of Trevor Casey. His pass knocked to the ground, gets it back, and now Georgetown has possession again. Thought they had an unsettled situation for a moment. Navy did a good job getting back on defense.
Right now you have McBride, Matt McBride. He has a good matchup here with a short stick. He'll probably test him. McBride from Del Barton comes from a family full of lacrosse talent. His older brother Mike started Harvard. His younger brother Chris is probably the most talented of the bunch, a junior. Be one of the biggest recruits next year in Division I.
And his sister Carrie plays on the Georgetown lacrosse women's team. So a lot of lacrosse players in the McBride family.
All from Del Barton High School. The boys all went to Del Barton, which is just churning out Division I talent. Guys like Dan Cocaziello, Ned Crotty, all those players are all from Del Barton, and they're doing a fabulous job on the Division I stage.
That time McBride's pass was knocked out of midair. Georgetown having trouble getting it back. They won't, and a flag comes out for some late checking done by Navy, and the midshipmen can't believe it. Victor Barger was over there for the mids along with Thomas Zimmerman hacking away. And it looked like Navy was going to get the ball, but now they get a penalty instead.
Right there, looks a little bit of a questionable call.
That's close. Though there was a couple of extra whacks on the play, but You know, I think that would have been asking a little bit much for Navy to just give up on it right there and stop playing defense.
These guys are going to bring their A game, and when you're a defenseman, you're going to play physical, straight up defense right there. In a game of this magnitude, I think that might be a little bit of a questionable call.
So Georgetown will be up a man for what amounts to basically the rest of this second quarter. A quarter filled with penalties. A quarter that saw Navy come back to tie it at 2. Long scoring drought despite the abundance of man-up situations. Baird on the right side, goal line extended behind the net for Brendan Cannon. Back to Baird. Georgetown waiting for that one cutter. We're under a minute, and it's picked off. Russell has possession for the midshipmen. Another great defensive stand. Navy's the best defensive team in the country, or one of them. And now they'll try to clear it. It's picked off. Picked off by Georgetown. They have an opportunity left side, and Russell comes flying out of the cage. Russell came flying out of the cage and leveled Denahan. What a defensive play. The flag comes out. Denahan was all alone, and the future Navy SEAL let him know about it.
2 heads-up plays by Russell. The play prior, he snuck out of that crease to intercept the pass. This one just jumps all over Denahan. Wow, Russell, all 5'7", 5'8", and he's not letting anything through that cage. What a play.
That's a future Navy SEAL right there. He is fired up afterwards. Unfortunately for Navy, penalty on the play on number 5, Brendan Teague, one of their close defenders. And this Navy crowd letting the officials know about that. We have 25 seconds to go, and a timeout called by Navy after a flurry of intense play. The midshipmen really shot themselves in the foot on an errant clearing pass, and that's what led to the Georgetown breakout, and then Russell coming flying out of the cage. I don't think I've ever seen a goalie just jump on a player like that. This is what led to it, however. Bad clear by Teague.
As you're a defenseman, you're taught never throw to the middle of the field right there, especially if your goaltender's not in the cage. But then Russell ambushes him. I don't think he's too concerned about.
I think that's the best way to put it. He ambushed him.
Sean Denahan, I don't think he's too concerned about Sean Denahan when he's off in late August to Bud School for becoming a Navy SEAL, basic underwater demolition school.
And
wow.
You could see on that replay as well, right before Russell jumped out, you saw the high hit by Teague, which led to the penalty. So, you know, Navy's fired up. Their goaltender, Matt Russell's fired up. Their crowd's fired up. But Georgetown has a good chance before the half to notch a goal here up a man.
Well, if Navy can hold the Hoyas on this possession, I think the momentum, especially after a big play like that, a big physical play by Russell, can really invigorate a team and give them the energy and that boost in the second half that they need.
Russell, by the way, 5'7", 156. That's what he's listed at. Sean Denahan, 6'3", 210.
Soaking wet. Matt Russell, he's a small goalie, small in stature, huge in heart.
And not only is he tough, he is good. He is on pace to break the NCAA career goals against mark. Russell right now at 6.12 for his career. The record, Rob Scher, 7.73. Georgetown gets a quick goal, however, after the fanfare. Brendan Cannon quiets the crowd down with an instant goal on the man advantage, and Georgetown back in front. So for all that Navy did well defensively, in the end it resulted in a power play goal for Georgetown.
And Cannon just snuck from behind here. We talked about his versatility. Last year he was a big goal scorer as a freshman. This year he's had the task of running this Georgetown offense. There he shows you his scoring and inside ability with the little head fake and the nudge really threw Russell off. Just that quick little twitch in his shooting motion can throw a goaltender off. Excellent placement inside by Cannon.
Navy will have one last chance here with 14 seconds to go. It's Steve Looney. Checked hard on the play. Nothing doing there for Looney. Throws a long looping pass for Dingman as we hit 5 seconds to go. Dingman has to move, but he's heading towards the end line. I'm not sure he's aware of the clock situation. And it will hit 0. I guess Navy content to head to the locker room down 3-2.
I'm screaming, shoot the ball up here, Ian. You're all even. Penalty was done. The Hoyas scored. Go to the goal. Get that last shot. Test DeAndrea.
So Georgetown, the beneficiaries of some calls late in the half, but right now Sheehan is on the sidelines with a guest. Sheehan.
Hi, I'm with Coach Meade right now. Coach, what are your thoughts on the first half?
Well, it's terrible. I mean, I think you know, we're fouling too much. We just had a situation there where, you know, we could have done 4 or 5 different things to get the ball out, and we wind up, you know, not clearing the ball and having to play defense again. I don't think we're playing with a lot of awareness right now. I think had we shot the ball a little bit better early, we'd be up several goals. But we gotta regroup at halftime.